This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone, good morning and good evening. Welcome to the new year. Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes.
Imran, not sir. Happy New Year. You have a lot of fun in this new year. By the way, 2090 has some very good statistics about cloud computing and DevOps. A lot of company would be investing more and more on DevOps front. So I'd be happy to know that more investment in the DevOps means more job openings, means fat packages, means a good life. Okay, so last class we have seen installation of package and we have a service. I am on CentOS machine and we installed HTTPD service yum install HTTPD. And the same package in Ubuntu machine is, so I'm like Vagrant user now, so I can run sudo apt install Apache 2. So Apache 2 is the same package name, Apache HTTPD service. We in Ubuntu we call it as Apache 2. In CentOS we call it as HTTPD. We as in that's the package name, but they both does the same work. They are the same software actually, and they are a service. Okay, a service is a computer program, is a process that runs in the background and serves the user a request, serves a client request. So when you talk about HTTPD and Apache 2, its client is a browser. So from the browser, you can access this service. You can use this service or utilize this service. A website basically, in a very, very common language. You can host a website with HTTPD and Apache 2. It's a service, and a computer is called as a server when it runs a service which serves a client request on a network on a particular port number. There will be network port number. We'll talk about a basic of networking tomorrow. That time we'll talk about that. So Apache 2 in Ubuntu or HTTPD in CentOS will run some processes. To manage those processes to manage that service, we have the service command. Service Apache 2 status. So that's the command to check the status of the service, the name of the service and its status. And here it shows it's running. So let's come to first CentOS machine. Now we have HTTPD service installed. Now let's check its service HTTPD status. So it says stopped. If you want to start it, you just say start. So with service command, there will be few options: start, stop, restart, reload. So we can even restart. Restart will shut down the service, stop the service, and then start the service. Okay, there is another option called as reload. So we use reload when you want to load the latest configuration. Whenever you make change to the configuration of any service, you restart the service. Okay, keep that in mind. When you make configuration change, when we make configuration change to a service, restart service. Okay, keep that in mind. The other points are, when we start a service, we enable it. Yeah, I know that's both sounds same, but this is the difference. So the service is started, HTTPD service is started, and I am on CentOS 6. In till CentOS 6, to start the all the service, to manage all the service, we have service command. Okay, I will show you about the latest generation command also. To enable the service, we have the command chk config. Give the service name and say on. Now what this will do is, when I reboot this machine, then the HTTPD service will come up while booting. But if I say off, then while booting, HTTP service won't come up. So enable means boot start at the boot time. Everyone clear on this? Enable means start at boot time. Yes? All good? Any question? Okay. So whenever you start a service, enable it. When you stop a service, disable it. Service IP tables status. This is a, okay, it's not running. Good. Anyways, IP tables is a firewall service in CentOS. Okay. Okay, there is no configuration specified. So if for some reason we are stopping the firewall, so we would also like to disable it. So also, when we stop a service, we disable it. So don't let me tell this again later. When I say start the service, that means start and enable both. Okay. When I say stop a service, that means stop and disable both. This is very important for us when we'll be talking about images and all, containers and all. Starting, enabling, stopping, disabling is very important. And whenever you make any configuration change to a service, restart that service. The other option is that you can also reload. Reload will not stop and start, will just load the latest configuration. But reload option is not available for all the services, and sometimes reload doesn't work. So always the better option is restarting the service. Okay, now let's move to the processes. So there's not much given about processes in the books because, oh no, sorry. So till CentOS 6 and Ubuntu 15. So till CentOS 6 and till Ubuntu 15, the command is service name, and then start, stop, restart. Okay, so this is the command example: service httpd start. Okay, but after CentOS 6, so when I say CentOS 6, I'll better give here as EL6. EL means Enterprise Linux. CentOS and Red Hat Enterprise Linux, all Enterprise Linux. Okay, or after Ubuntu 16, the command is, you can say after or from and after. Systemctl and the option start slash status slash restart and the service name. Okay, that's the command. Example, systemctl start httpd. Okay, I'll show you example. We have Ubuntu 16 here. Ubuntu nsv release underscore. So that's Ubuntu 16. Okay. So as I told you, after Ubuntu 16, from and after Ubuntu 16, the command is systemctl status Apache 2. Now don't get surprised when service command works over here. Okay, service command also works in the latest operating system, but it again redirects to this command only. Okay, for to stop it, systemctl stop Apache 2. Dead. You can start it. So it's capturing my session whenever I'm saying status command, it's capturing my session. You just give Q to cancel that. You see, just give Q. Okay. Okay, so that was about service start and stop, and now the enable command. So for EL6, instead of this I'll take it separately. Enable or disable service. So again, till here we have command for EL6 chk config service name and on or off. For Ubuntu it's different command, update -rc.d service name, enable or disable. Okay, that's to enable disable service in EL6 or till Ubuntu 15. But with latest generation, after EL6 and after Ubuntu 16, systemctl enable service name for both. Okay, for CentOS 6 and Ubuntu 14, for both systemctl to enable. Okay, no different command. So let me show you one example here. Systemctl enable Apache 2. That's how you enable. So if you want to check whether it's enabled, you say is hyphen enabled. What? Executing is enabled Apache 2 enabled. Yeah, okay, it's showing enabled. Is enabled showing enabled. Okay. Or if you want to see whether the service is just running or not and don't want to check in detail, you can just say is active. It will show you the service whether it's active or not. So that means running. This means enabled at the boot time. Okay. Now Systemctl has a lot of other options that can manage your system, but these are few. So to manage the latest generation services in the latest generation operating system, we have Systemctl. All time we have service commands, chk config, updates rc, different command. But now Systemctl across the board, all the new generation operating system, we use Systemctl. Okay, all clear? How do you find out what operating system you are in?
uname minus r.
Okay, uname minus r.
etc cat slash etc slash red hat
Uname minus
underscore red hat underscore release hyphen, yeah, then or else lsb.
Okay, now all right, this
uname
is right.
will
This
try.
is this is right thing, huh? Cat red hat release. So this will at least make you sure that this is no red hat based operating system, that this is not CentOS, this is not red hat enterprise linux, it could be Debian. So we will try then lsb underscore release hyphen a. Okay, find out your operating system name and its version, and based on that you will have the right command. Now you have caught up the DevOps training in a time when the world is transitioning most of the places from 6 to 7 centers, RHEL 6 to 7, from Ubuntu 15 to 16, 18, like that. So you will definitely witness different operating system, older generation also, new generation also. So be prepared. These are the commands. There'll be few more differences that I'll tell you later. Okay, or if you want, you can simply Google saying difference between different commands between CentOS 6 and CentOS 7. There will be cheat sheets and list and all. Okay, but whenever there is a time, I'll show you the difference. All good? Okay, muting you all. Fine. So we're going to wrap up Linux today. All right, like whatever we have covered in the quick start, like we have Linux almost every day in the course, but the basics ones and all of that little bits of server management, that will wrap up today. So that's how you manage service, and there are different kinds of services, like for example MySQL service. So we have a project exercise probably day after tomorrow, where we'll set up the entire project on our virtual machines or vProfile project manually. So all the services I'll explain you, and then we're going to set them all one by one. There are how many, 6 to 7 services that we have to set up in different VMs and connect them together. Okay, it's going to be a very good exercise. All right, a very good warm-up before we begin our DevOps main exercise. Warm-ups, right? You do exercises. Okay, yeah. A top command in Linux system will show all the active tasks, all the processes, you can say. Okay, top command has so many information that's flowing around. Uptime 26 minutes, so it's up from 26 minutes. What happened? What? Where did it go? Did I close it accidentally? Strange. Anyways, Ubuntu system. So uptime 25 minutes. One user is connected. Load average is 0.00. So load average is going to be the CPU wait time. So we have 3 values in load average. This is current load average. The second one is last 5 minutes average, and this one is last 15 minutes average. Okay, this is interview question. All right. Hey, what's happening? Oh, that is also gone now. And they don't like top command or what? So current load average, last 5 minutes, last 15 minutes. Load average you can also find with W command, which will tell you uptime of the system, how many users are connected. W command. Okay. Or also uptime command is there. There also you can find the load average and how many users are there connected. So it's showing 2 user. You know why 2 user? Because my first session got closed but the user was still active there, so it's going to take some time for that session to die. Just a moment. All right, sorry. Okay, so let's be back to the top command. So there are total 1 not task running, which you can call as processes. Well, I can't say running actually, they are there in the memory. So out of 106, one is running or 1 or 2 are running and 104 are sleeping. That many processes are sleeping. In Linux, most of the processes will be sleeping until unless they don't get signal to execute some tasks. Okay, until they don't process some signal. So they don't get the signal, they'll be sleeping. That's how Linux manages memory better. Okay, not all of the processes will be running. The process which is doing some computation only will be running, most of them will be sleeping. And this sleep will not be like the sleep that we think like how we sleep. Okay, this is going to be this is called as interrupted sleep. Okay, the process will get quickly up and running. Stopped, zero process are stopped, zero or zombie. I'll explain you about zombie and stop process. That's CPU utilization, how much CPU is currently under utilization. Okay, this and this are different value. Okay, this is CPU utilization. CPU utilization can go 100% also. Okay, then it comes down also, like the load average. Sorry, no, in Windows we have this task manager, right? That one, similar to that, right? So you see CPU utilization that goes till 62%, 100% also, same in Linux system also. Okay, and by the way, that scrutil is a go-to meeting, not virus, right? And then RAM memory, it's in KB, how much is used, how much is free. Swap is virtual memory on your hard disk. So if any process is sleeping and the RAM needs to be freed, there's not enough memory in the RAM, so sleeping processes will be moved to swap. Okay, keep that in mind. Sleeping processes will be moved to the swap. Active processes will never be moved to swap. Active process will be always in the memory. Okay, processes that are running, and these are those processes that we're talking about. I distorted it. Let's run it again. So these are all the users. This is the user that is running the process. The first column talks about the process ID. Every process will have an ID. Okay, that's how it is identified on the system. If the process is killed and started, it may get another process ID also. Okay, so these are some values, nice value and all, which will make sure how much resource they get. Load average is the CPU wait time, actually how long the CPU is waiting to process something. That's a load average. There's much more calculation in that, but load is all about CPU load average. Okay, mostly about CPU. But even if your memory goes full, then then CPU also, then load also increases on the CPU. Okay, but load average is all about CPU. Okay, here is the percent of CPU utilization. I just explained you that for current load average, last 5 minutes load average, last 15 minutes load average. Got it? Okay. So percent of CPU utilization, percent of memory for the process, time, and the command, the actual command. You see this, some familiar process. Okay. Now keep this one in mind. This will be helpful later also. Init is the first process in Linux. Okay, its PID, process ID will be 1. So this is the grandparent of all the process. This starts all the other processes. Okay, init. Let's write it in capital to give it more value. Init process. Okay, but with the latest generation operating system, we also have systemd as the first process. Okay, and same PID is 1. So enterprise Linux 7 and RHEL 7 and all, we are having now systemd as the first process. Its PID is always 1. Okay, this is the first process, grandparents of all the process. When you want to shut down your system, it's going to close all the process. At the end, when the PID 1 dies, your system dies. In any case, PID 1 is dead, everything is dead. Okay, now understanding about processes for you is not really so much important for us, but it will make you really good with your systems. And when you're dealing with automation, you'll be running so many things in the backgrounds. So having that knowledge of processes, how they run in the background, what a daemon and all those things will be always helpful for you. So I am taking this for you. So that was our top command. Okay, and there are so many interview questions from the top commands. You better read it again. I'll send you some link also if you want about the top command in detail explanation. So the top command shows in detail dynamic information. It's just fluctuating. PS aux command will show you similar information, but it's going to display and quit. PS aux. So the first process, okay, PID 1 is init. All right, that's the percent of CPU utilization. Keep that in mind. PID 1 init. And then there are stats. Okay, S stands for sleeping, R stands for running, and then you have different kinds of sleeps: uninterrupted sleep, interrupted sleep. Actually, so much in detail about the stats, but let's show you a few. R is running, S is sleeping. Okay, then the other one you have is Z, zombie. I'll explain you about zombie in a moment. The processes that are in square bracket are called as kernel threads. Okay, kernel processes. Never touch that process. Don't do anything with that. Okay, these are the kernel processes. All right, we don't do anything with it. We just let it run. The kernel manages all of that. Everything that is in square bracket. Okay, then that's DH client, DHCP client. Okay, that's a service that will ask for the IP address from the DHCP server in the system put. Then you have some rsyslogd service, process that is going to manage the system's log. And what is it interesting? Mingedi, this is your shell actually. Okay, that we get. You see your HTTPD process. We have started the HTTPD process. Okay, you see how many processes of HTTPD is running. We just say service HTTPD start, and then it will start processes in the background. Okay, that's what running a service means. The processes will be running. This is a daemon, not demon. Write it, daemon, daemon. Okay, and not demon. Okay, daemon, it's a process running in background and will be detached from the shell. Okay, that's what daemon means. In Red Hat family, daemons are named as D, like SSH-D, HTTP-D, MySQL-D. There'll be all D at the end, but that's only in Red Hat family. Okay, other like Ubuntu and any other Debian systems, we don't have a D at the end to represent as a daemon. So PS aux gives really a lot of information. Probably we are just interested in the process ID. I just want to find the process ID. So ps-ef is a good command just to find the process ID. Like here, httpd, first it is started by root. This is the process ID 2963. Okay, and you have here two columns actually for the process IDs. One is the process ID, the other one is parent process ID. Okay, who started this process? Like PID1, who started this process? This is 0, PPID. Yes, there is a process 0 also, but that process dies. Okay, it's the booting init RDMH file. When it loads, that's the process. It loads everything. It loads the kernel. Init process start. Init process takes the ownership, and then the process ID 0 dies. So you won't find a process ID with 0 over here. Okay, but you can certainly see that this process's parent process ID was 0. Then 2, that's a kernel thread in square bracket. Then that started so many processes, this third, fourth, fifth, all this process. You see a process from 3 to, I don't know, scroll, all are these kernel thread. Check in square bracket. Okay, yeah, 302, that is also started by kernel thread, and that process is started by init. Right, till here 814. Okay, now other processes. So process number 1000, DHCP client, its parent process ID is init. Okay, check that out. Then 1236 halt. Then you have halt runner process, its parent is this one. You can check here, 1236. It's important for you to identify the parent process ID to understand about orphan processes. Okay, I'll explain you that. So now check here our HTTPD service. Now we are not so much concerned about those processes. We are concerned about the processes that we are running, we are managing, and we need it to be running. 2963 is the parent process ID, is the process ID of HTTPD process, which in turn started all these processes. Check the parent process ID 2963, 2963, 2963. So all this process is started by this process, which is called as forking. Okay, process then starts other processes, then that processes can start other processes. That's called as forking. Okay, so you need to identify that. Why you need to identify, you'll understand in a moment. So I just want to find HTTPD process, so I can say grep HTTPD. Oh, sorry, command. See, all the process that has the word as HTTPD, you're filtering and showing it on the screen. Apart from this one at the end, this 3160 is a grep process. Now grep process, when we run the command, the grep process starts. When the command execution completes, the grep process will be dead. So there is no point in seeing that. So we can do one more thing here. We can pipe it again with grep-v. Grep-v will do the reverse. It will not show that particular line which we don't want. So I don't want to show wherever there is written grep. Like I don't want to see this line. Okay, check that out. Okay, now one more thing. Pipe. Awk. Awk. Did we see awk previously? I guess you've seen. Anyways,
Yes.
awk is again a filter utility. Now I'm just worried. I just want to see the processes. Okay, just the process ID. I don't want to see the other details. I know these are all now HTTP process, but I just want to print the process ID. That's all. So I will say awk in single quote in curly braces. Just type print and the field $1 2. That's the second field, right? It's just displaying the process ID now. Oops. Okay, and that's a very important command. Will be very helpful for you when you want to kill all the processes at once. Okay, note it. Take a note of it. This will be very helpful. Now, some processes dies, some processes don't die when you say service HTTPD stop. Sometimes the processes don't respond for some reason. Load is going high, or deep process got defunct. This could be so many reasons why the process is not dying. So we can kill the process by ourselves also by giving kill command. Kill and target the parent process. Like I want to kill HTTPD, so I'll say kill 2963. Okay, when I say kill 2963, this is actually not a kill. This is actually a request for 2963 process to close its operation. 2963 process, or you can say it's an order also. Yes, it's an order. 2963 process receives the order. We call it a signal. And then 2963 process will find all its child process and will close all the child operation and then will close itself. A very clean way of stopping a process. Let's check. Nothing. HTTPD is service is down. You can check service HTTPD status. It's dead but subsist logged. I'll say start now. Okay, now let's check the process again. Started. Okay, but the process IDs will be different. So here there is no such scenario where process service command is not working. Service command is definitely working, but you'll have a situation where service command will not work, systemctl command will not work. Sometimes you don't have that command, service and systemctl. Okay, sometimes you need to write a script that will check the process IDs, and if it's there, it's going to stop them. So in this cases, these commands will be very helpful for you. Now sometimes kill doesn't work, so I say kill 3208 and that also does not work. The process is so stubborn, it doesn't respond for anything, or command is not passing, signal is not going through for some reason. So other option is -9. Okay, -9 is a forceful. It's not asking, it's not even an order, it's just action. Okay, so again, with our previous mindset, I am trying to kill the parent process, but when I do that, the parent process got killed, but parent process had no idea that it is gonna get closed, so it did not close the child process. So child process will be still running. See that 3210. See, all the child processes are running, and now who is the parent? Who is the what is the parent process ID? Come on, what's the parent process ID now? Init. Very good. So it's adopted by init, process ID 1. Okay, not root. Who said root? Sheikh Rahim, not root. I said init, PID 1, init process. Do not forget that. Okay, so it is adopted by init process. These kind of processes are called as orphan process. Okay, orphan process is a process, you have seen that in action actually. Let me just now tell you in a theoretical way. Okay, orphan process is a process whose parents process are dead, but it is still operational, it's still running. But here is the bad thing: if the parent process is dead, then child processes, the orphan processes, is not gonna serve any purpose to us for the user. Okay, because it receives all the signals from the parent process. The parent is dead, it doesn't know what to do really. So orphan process will be in the memory and will not will not be of any help. Okay, so it's always a good idea to clean the orphan process. Right, in such cases you can kill them one by one. You can say kill -9, and I can do like this: kill -9. I can say 3210 3211. No, I can just start typing all the process, but sometimes there are hundreds of processes. Okay, in such cases your common sense will come to help you. You know all those commands, you have to just put all them together. Grep -v, and then awk. I just want the process ID, which is in the second column. Print $2. What happened? Try grep. Wait a second. Oops. What? Grep -v. Oh, grep -v, grep like this. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So you have to exclude anything that is unnecessary. Okay, so I want to exclude that from the search. I don't want that process ID to be killed. I mean, even if it's get killed, it's already dead, the grep process. So awk print $2, right? So anyways, you got the process ID. You think, I can just now do copy pasting. You don't need. Okay, there's one more thing you can do. Pipe it again with xargs. Xarg. Okay, and say kill -9. So what xargs will do, whatever is, whatever output is coming from here comes as an input. Xargs will execute that command and take that input. So kill -9 and all the processes all dead at once. See that? No, service doesn't depend on anything. It's already paths and everything is exported. Path is only for absolute relative path is only for your files, okay, not for processes. Right, I've given you very helpful command. It can be done with other ways also. So this command is find the process ID and kill it. Okay, find all the process ID with httpd, okay, and then kill it. Right, take a note of this one, also very helpful. And you should be pleased. These are the tricks that we use in system administration. Okay, all good? You understood how to find the process ID and kill it? You should know that. And what's an orphan process? You understood? Parent process is dead, but the child process is still running. Now let's talk about the zombie process. Zombie processes are very easy to identify because you can just see them in like top command how many zombie processes are there. Okay, and then you can check in ps aux command. Okay, there will be z here. Okay, in the stat there is no zombie process for us now, so you won't see any process with a z stat. So it's very easy to identify. Okay, I hope you know what's zombie. You know what zombie? You watch movies, Hollywood movies, or even Bollywood. It's coming nowadays. You don't watch movies. Okay. Seriously, Living Dead. Yeah, finally someone knows it. So zombie, like if you don't know what's a zombie, you can just simply Google and find out what's a zombie. But here it is, person who is dead, right? But still walks, still somehow there is no soul. Soul is missing. Okay, it's not really doing a human thing. Okay, but it's still walking, running, and even eating, and God knows what it eats. Okay, so undead, they also call it as undead. Okay, which is dead but not dead like that. So process, zombie process are exactly same. Okay, process which is dead but its entry is still there in the process table. Okay. Very simple meaning, I'll tell you. Okay, so a process which is dead but its entry is still there in the process table. Like a person is dead but they're still on probably walking on the earth, so the still entry is there on the earth. Okay, but they're of no use. Like that zombie process are of no use. But the zombie process that is in our system are not so much harmful as they show it in the movies. It's not going to do anything to us. Zombie process doesn't take resources. Okay, it doesn't take any resource. The only problem you'll get when you have zombie processes, starting or stopping, reloading a similar process, similar service that has the same name. Okay, that time you may have some problems, but otherwise zombie process doesn't create much issues to us, and zombie process cannot be killed. Okay, you can't just say kill and give the process ID of zombie and kill it. Okay, because if it's already dead, how you can kill it? So there are some ways to clean the zombie process. The best way is to reboot your system. That's how you can clean the process table entry and you won't see any zombie process. Okay, orphan process, you have to identify, find it based on its parent. If its parent is missing, it's adopted by init. HTTPD service will never be started by init. Why will it be started by init? So if it is its parent process that is init, that means it's an orphan process, so you better clean that. Zombie process clearly shows it's a Z. Okay, so that was about orphan process and zombie process. Interview question, by the way, you have seen that in real time how it is. Okay, then theoretically answer that. Right, so much today. All good. So that's what I wanted to show you about processes and all. Now let's see one final thing. /log. There are so many stats in service, in sleep. Okay, interrupted sleep, uninterrupted sleep. Okay, so many. SS is an active sleep, I guess. I'll send you one link where you can go through all of that. There are like so many different types of stats. Okay, now let's talk about archiving. Okay, what is that? HTTPD. So archive and zip, archive and compress. All right, archive means like zipping, compress means reducing its size. So you need to do this operations also almost regularly when you want to move some data, some directory, set of files from one system to other system. We archive it, compress it, and then we send it over the network by using scp and all command or rsig command. Or if some log file is taking too much of disk space, log files, generally we have some log rotation policies that will clean the old logs. Okay, logs gets continuously updated, log files, and they gets their size gets in gbs and gbs, and they keep on increasing. So it's always necessary that we do the log rotation. Log rotation means delete a log file that is so and so old. Okay, so 8 days old, or that means days old. But before you delete, we have to take its backup, because maybe we have a audit, okay, that needs 6 months old logs. So you don't want to delete the log. We probably will take its backup, put it somewhere else, and then we take its backup. Sorry, then we delete it. Okay, before we delete, we take the backup. So a very basic thing about backup is you archive the data and compress the data, and then you can store it at a different location. So there is a directory called httpd, and let's say its size is increasing. Okay, its log file size is increasing, and I want to archive it, compress it, and move it somewhere else. So we have utility tar. Okay, tar is an archive and compress utility. You see tar -c, it will compress a directory. Create a directory. C is for create an archive, like just zipping, right click and zip the directory like that. But you also want to compress it, so you can give option like Z. Okay, and if you want to print lot of output, you say V. All right, and F is for the file. You give first the destination, so I'll say httpd underscore, I will give the date. Okay, today's date, that is 02/01/2018. I'm just kidding, I know it's 2019. Okay, and then at the end extension you say tar.gz. Not a mandatory extension, but it's always good to identify. If you see a file with tar.gz extension, that means it was created by tarball, and then it was also compressed by z operation, a z option. That's the name. Now give the target that you want to compress, httpd directory, or I can give the complete path here, like var log. But always go into the directory what you want to backup and then give its path, relative path, because there is this / at the beginning that can create issues later. So tarball, this is called as tarball. Tarball means an archive or compressed file created by tar command. That's called as tarball. So that's a tarball now. And now I'm gonna move that tarball to, let's say, somewhere, some shared directory, some different place where it goes to a different storage. Okay, moved like that. Let's go to temp directory. To unzip that, tar hyphen. Now by looking at the extension of a tarball, you can tell what options you have to provide. X is for extract, so X option, Z because it is showing option as GZ. Okay, V F, give the log file, give the zip file path. See, archived, unarchived, sorry. If you want to unarchive it to a different location, you can say -C, and you can give the path. Let's say I want to send it to probably opt. Let's send it to opt. So now you see that in the opt directory, you see it's unarchived in the opt directory. You have like extract here, extract somewhere else, like that. Okay, all right, let's go back. Let's see one more command. Zip. Zip will be sometimes installed, sometimes will not be installed. Let's try that. Zip httpd underscore 02/01/2019. Yeah, it's gonna take some practice to type 2019. .zip, I just give the extension .zip and httpd. So in zip and archive command also like that. Okay, first you give the destination and then you give the source. Okay, if the zip command is not installed, install it. Okay, you can install it, yum install zip, and it will be installed. Or if it's a Ubuntu system, apt install zip. Okay, zip command will not be by default available on all the server. Okay, and then I can move it. Okay, now check, with the extension, now I can identify that this is done by zip, this is done by tar.gz. Okay, done by tar and -z option. So if I see -zip, I can use unzip command and can give the path. Okay, yeah. So when you're going to unarchive with unzip command, and if these files already exist, then it will ask you question, what do you want to do? Do you want to overwrite this or not? Okay, if you want to overwrite, you can just say -a, which will overwrite all. But tar command will not give you this. Okay, tar command will simply unzip, doesn't matter. You see, it will not ask you. Unzip command will ask you, at least have a courtesy to asking where should I overwrite or not. Okay, but tar command comes with lot of options. Tar command is the legacy archive tool. Okay, backup archive tool, and it's a native Linux tool. It comes with all the Linux flavor, and it has tons of options. You know, you can even check what's the content of a zip file by giving tvf. It will show you what is the content. Okay, you can even add an extra file like that also you can do. And there are so many options. Tar is more powerful than zip is just very easy. Okay, quickly get things done, zip and move, that's all. You don't need to be mandatory in the root to install packages. As I told you, you can issue the sudo command also. Like now I am vagrant user, I can say sudo yum search yum, or let's say install something, yum install git. But you have to give at least the sudo. Okay, without that it's gonna throw an error. Got it? VJ, I like your name and it's cool, really. Okay. Okay. And what's wrong with you? Just go. Okay guys, before we wrap up, some few more commands with the Linux. Free-m is going to show you RAM size. Okay, how much total RAM is available, how much is used, and how much is free. Okay, there will be a cache also, and there will be a buffer also, and they'll be available also sometimes. Okay, so check it properly. df-h command will show you the root partition name. Okay, you can see where it's mounted. How do you identify root partition? You simply see mounted on. If you see the root directory, that's a root partition. Okay, and this is the partition, hard disk partition name, SDA1. We learn about this partitioning and all when I start cloud computing. There will have a lot of partitioning and all. That time I'll explain you much in detail this one, how to do partition, format, mount, all of it. So its size is 40 gigs, used is 3 gigs, 35 gigs is still available. Okay, you can have other partitions also. So when your system is running slow or some problem, you can check few things. Run w command, check the load average, check free-m, check how much memory is free. Okay, also check your hard disk space. Sometimes disk space root partition gets full and the system will be very slow. Okay, so these are like three quick pointers which can tell you what's wrong with the system currently. Okay, at least these are the blood pressures of the system. Okay, blood pressures and pulses. So you can find with this one what's, if there is something wrong or not. If wrong, then we can troubleshoot more. Later we'll see that. Okay, what else we have for the basics? Yeah, if you uname command, uname -a will tell you what architecture, what's the, first of all, what's the kernel version. Okay, and what's the architecture. x86-64 means 64-bit operating system. Right, uname -r will simply show you the kernel name. Okay, date command will show you the current date and time. All the time this command will use to identify what's the date and time. Based on that we name our files and all. There are some options also that we'll see in date command in scripting. Last command will show you which is the user that is last logged in and when was the system last rebooted. It's good for keeping track who is logging into the system. Okay, every individual should have their own username to log in. With that username they log in. Okay, they give their own password, and even they are the system administrators. Okay, they should log in with a user, then they can change to root user. Okay, we never disclose root password to anyone. All right, sometimes root password is not even set, no one knows it, so no one can log in with root password. You log in with your user, then with sudo you can switch to root user. Okay, and it's very important to keep track, that we will know that who logged in that particular time. But if there is root and 10 people have root login password, then 10 people will log in. How will we identify who is who? All right, so it's very important for keeping track. But there are other ways also, trust me, to find out, but these are basics. Right, so I think last was the last command for today. We will see a lot of vagrant tomorrow and day after tomorrow. We'll also see networking, basics of networking. If you have no idea about networking, you will get immense amount of knowledge in a very short duration. If you already know about networks, IPs and all, then you may not enjoy it that much. Okay, because it's going to be very basics: what's port, what's protocol, such kind of stuff, how DNS works, how DSCP works, very basic things. All right, but it's highly important for a DevOps engineer to know that. Okay, so that would be all for today. I will see you tomorrow with vagrant and networking. Anything else? All right then. Yeah, those few links I'll send you, okay, today through the email. Just go through them. All right, but first practice this one, whatever I have shown you. Okay, everything should be like, you should be by hearting probably. If you want to by heart these commands. Okay, I don't care, but you should be good with this. All right then, I will see you then tomorrow. Okay, take care, bye bye, have a good day and night, and happy new year again.